The 5 Political and Geopolitical News of December 16, 2022. The origin and production path of the Russian military's deadly drones, the revolutionary new AI co-founded by Elon Musk, very costly Russian advances in Ukraine, a massive downturn in the Chinese economy, and Russia that finds itself new business partners. Recently, several Russian drones hit different military and civilian targets in Ukraine and raised a multitude of questions regarding their production. Many hypotheses have been tried to explain the provenance of American parts in these drones, some linking Chinese companies as a supply path. The Sea Eagle is an inexpensive and very lethal drone, which would have led indirectly to the death of 100 soldiers per day. The delivery of production begins in the United States and, passing in particular through Chinese factories, ends up finally in St. Petersburg. The owners of the recently popular artificial intelligence ChatGPT announced that OpenAI expects more than $1 billion in revenue by 2024. Where that money will come from is still unclear, and developers are not sure. Did not answer the monetary questions. They assured, however, that AI, which is already one of the most advanced in the world, will continue to improve. OpenAI, co-founded by Elon Musk and investor Sam Altman, has been funded with $1 billion by Microsoft Corporation and plans to expand even further. This is the 42nd week of combat in Ukraine, following the Russian invasion. Russia has been bombing the front line for several weeks, in addition to hitting civilian targets to force the Ukrainian people into submission. The Kremlin claimed to have taken several territories, notably in the eastern regions of Ukraine, Luhansk, and Donetsk. Ukraine claimed that Russia had conquered little land and at a very high cost.
The Ukrainian General Staff said that Russia had lost a lot of men and military equipment. While the COVID crisis seems to be further and further away, the slowdown in factory productivity in China, seen last November, is starting to have a strong effect on sales in supermarkets and shopping centers. Financial experts predict that the next 6 months will be the most difficult and will determine the future of the Chinese economy. The hardest hit cities will be those that have suffered the harshest lockdowns and those that have seen the recent protests against the Chinese Communist Party. While the price of a barrel of Russian oil has been limited to $60 for more than a week, the Russian authorities have announced that to compensate for the losses of trade with the West, Russia will develop its trade with new partners, in particular in transferring gas flows to its eastern neighbors, particularly to China. China, which seems to be one of the few countries profiting from the war in Ukraine, has succeeded since February 2022 in obtaining ever more Russian oil at ever lower prices. Don't forget to share and subscribe.